All right. It's a pleasure to be here once again on the Gracious Hope podcast. And this is a platform where faith, compassion, and real life impact come together in a meaningful way and also conversation. I am your host. I'm Pastor Red, and I'm so grateful to have you join us today. Now, we live in a world where many talk about change, and some people are quietly doing the work that brings hope to communities that need it most. And today's podcast, our conversation on this podcast is about service that reaches beyond words. It is about charity with a human face. It is about seeing people, hearing their needs, and stepping forward with practical help. Our focus today on this podcast is the work of the Eddington Foundation, a charity that is a charity foundation serving the underserved Liberians in District Number One in Grand Bassa County, Liberia. Now, during their end of the year closeout initiatives, that is from December 26th through December 31st, the Eddington Foundation carried out several acts of generosity that touched different parts of the community in District Number One, Grand Bassa County. Their outreach included a soccer tournament for eight teams, financial aid for women, support for midwives, care for a disabled gentleman, and an orphan child. Also, a donation to a local radio station, scratch card giveaways, the dedication of community Palava Hut, and recognition from a local elementary school that benefited from the reopening of its learning institution in September of last year. And also, the Eddington Foundation received a recognition from Liberia's Ministry of Information, not information, but education. That's what I meant to say. The Ministry of Education recognized the charitable effort of the foundation. And these are not just events on the list. These are acts of kindness that speak to dignity, belonging, and hope. They show us what can happen when people choose to use their platform, resources, and influence to lift others. So today on this podcast, we are going to hear the heart behind the work, the sacrifice behind the giving, and the vision for what lies ahead. So stay with us on this podcast because I believe this conversation will encourage you and will also challenge you and perhaps stir something in your own heart about what it means to serve. Today, I'm so honored to welcome two guests, Emmanuel Johnson, widely known as EClass, and his better half, Myrica Guzeh, known as Paris. Now, they are founders and leaders behind Eddington Foundation, a charitable organization committed to helping underserved people in Grand Bassa County. That work reflects compassion in action and a deep concern for the well-being of ordinary people, and also, especially during a season when many families are feeling the weight of need. So through this foundation, Eddington Foundation, they have supported youth through sports, encouraged women with financial help, stood with caregivers in the community, reached out to individuals in vulnerable situations, invested in local communication, and contributed to community development in visible and meaningful way. So then we would say what makes their story so unique and powerful is not simply the money giving or the projects completed. It is the heart behind it all. It is the decision to return to the community with purpose, to honor people with dignity, and to bring real support where it is needed most. So with pleasure right now, I am so delighted to bring on Emmanuel and Myrica. Thank you so much for joining us today on this broadcast, Gracious Hope. We are so glad to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Pastor.
us.
Appreciate it.
Nice
Yes,
being back again.
yes. This is your second time,
Yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah.
know, I characterize this podcast as the heart of Grand Bassa County
Yeah.
and the Eddington Foundation. So then we're going to be talking to both of you here today regarding your charitable effort, you know, your story of origin, your mission, and personal motivation. So let us begin at the foundation of the foundation. So before the outreach and before the initiatives that you are carrying on and before the public impact, I mean, there was a burden in your heart, both of you, all along to serve. So
Yes.
tell us, what led you, first of all, I know you've said this before, what led you to establish Eddington Foundation?
Oh, he'll take that.
I mean, Pastor Ray, for the past, I would say, 25 years, I went to Liberia multiple times every year.
Mhm.
And then I started to realize there were many challenges. But a lot of the challenges our people are facing or were facing, they can be solved, with just measure being put in place or system being put in place. Those those challenges can be resolved. And like unemployment, it was just so many things that were so fixable
Mhm.
that were not being fixed. And the problem, why can't it not be fixed when it takes nothing to fix this problem? I think the problem was being ignored, and I just felt like I want to be the sacrificial lamb. I want to be the guy that, even though they say, "Oh, you can't do this," I want to be the guy that say, "Yes, I did it," or at least I started the pathway that other join me and might completed later on down the line. So it's just pretty much compassion and just love for my people. That's all.
Wow, compassion and love for people. And based upon your personal experiences, also shape your desire to serve those underserved communities in Grand Bassa County. Correct?
Absolutely,
Good,
yes.
good. But what was it important for you to make charity practical by you going on the ground to see and meet people? Like I look at a picture, and this was very heart touching, E-Class.
Yeah.
This look at you among these
Oh
kids,
yeah, yeah.
their
Those kids.
parents, and I see a light shining.
Yeah.
Apparently, heaven was shining on you that day.
Yeah, yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So, what made it so? Why is it so important that you wanted to make it so practical and have that
Also,
community center kind of way of doing things by meeting the people?
Pastor Red, before I continue, I just want to make a reference to that picture.
Yes.
So I did not know the children of that village had
Yes.
to cross the Farmington River every day into Myrica County to go to school. Twice a day they had to do it. And then when the Paramount chief said the school that started from a little under or over 100, almost 200 kids, those children are not crossing the Farmington River into Myrica County morning and evening, risking the land when the tide rises and all that stuff. They can all go to school from steps away from the primary homes and stuff. That was very important to me that I got to know that.
Wow. Wow. So, what values guide your work of this foundation to help others?
I mean, humanity, share love and respect for your fellow man, and above all things, realizing that most of us, many of us, were once in those people position. So I mean, we all got, we got conscience, we all got intellect, we all got intuition. When you were in a situation before and you know the pain, the suffering of that situation, the ups and downs of that situation, and God bless you to graduate from that situation, how can you not look back and know the pain the people are still bearing that you once bear and don't do nothing? It never make no sense to me. So, I just cut a lot of things off in my life, a lot of vacation, a lot of unnecessary purchases. I just cut a lot of aspects of my life off and just dedicated to my people.
Yeah, and that is a sacrifice. And I know Marika loves to provide health care and also
That's
reach out to people or education as a whole. Marika, tell us a little bit about your experience so far. And I know you intimated to me that you'll be traveling pretty soon for a few weeks as well.
Yes, thank you. So the Eddington Foundation started all with Eddington. It was his dream, his vision. And I came on board because I always joking, right? I was like, you got the brain, you got the strategy, and I'm coming to put in the structure. And so that's how I came on board. But with the education aspect of it is something that we're both I would say a benefactor of. We are, from my background in work, it's always been clinical research and academia. And I have always, been a strong advocate for education. I feel like the reason why I'm where I'm at today is because my parents like put their foot forward and put me in the best position when as it pertains to education. And I thank God for that. Back then I thought, my parents was being like horrible. Dad was like, you got TV. How do you have TV in your house and you can't watch it until like Saturday or Sunday? And he was like, you don't have nothing to do with your time. Pick up a book. I always thought he was like being not, uncompromising. And then it paid off. It opened doors for me. You become an actual competitor in the workforce and in society. So when it came to him setting up the education aspect of the foundation, I told him, I was like, at least I can be good at something. I would take on the education and the healthcare because it's like second nature to me, and it's my niche. It's what I know best. And I'm happy to say that so far, we've been making our strides in the education sector. We were able to put out a 250 student scholarship, which has been going very well. Some of the status update from that is just 2 weeks ago, we did a review of the students and just to get like a sensor of how many students are still in school, because again, we will launch these scholarship, but you have to understand these kids are in rural area. There are a lot of components that keep them in and out of the classroom. So we were able to do a sensor and find out that we only had 16 students drop out of 250. Am I happy by that number? No, because we like to keep all 250 in school in the classrooms. However, if I had to grade myself or grade the Eddington Foundation, I still say we're at a high B+. I say that because there are other factors that can come into play as to what keeps even the kids in the US. Your parents tell you to go to school and you skip. There are reasons behind it. Some of them are peer pressure. The society has this point, but I think back in those areas, there's you got family issue, you got parenting. Sometimes they don't even have food. So they start to weigh the option. Do I go to school hungry or do I stay home and try to help my mom around the house or farming? And so because of those things, we were not too thrilled, but we are still excited. And what we decided to do is reach out to those various parents of the kids that have dropped 16, see what the situation is, and see how we can best facilitate and try to relieve them of those burdens. And so that we can keep all 250 in school, because next school year, we're launching another component to the scholarship and adding college students to it. So
Wow.
I'm excited about that. And to allude to the trip that you mentioned, the upcoming trip, in May, Eddington and I are going, and we're taking back medical supplies for 4 clinics that we've identified in the district that will be accessible from other joining locations. And this is going to help a lot because, again, you mentioned midwives. A lot of these clinics are not just they're not fully staffed, but also they're lacking resources. So to have them filled with the necessity of healthcare gears is going to be paramount. We're looking at blood pressure monitoring stuff. We're looking at your gauze, your even down to like drawing blood stuff, phlebotomy stuff. We just want to have them adequately stacked with equipment so that they're not running out. A lot of these people are not even going to the hospital because of money. And so if you have your clinics, and then again, you have to think about transportation, and a lot of them cannot make it to JFK or the Catholic Hospital and all these bigger institutes. So to have your neighborhood clinic staff with some of the necessities, I think is good. And we plan to continue that. And I told Eddington, I was like, for me, we both, I don't look at anything short term. Whatever I put my mind and heart to, I tend to, and I don't put my hand into anything if I don't see the long end result. So we are going to continue this with the healthcare, with the scholarship, even with the school. Eddington has now taken on this one school that he had to reopen and said is like another child of ours. So I'm excited about that. Because again, having kids, I don't even want to go across the river. I'm not a swimmer. And then they're doing canoes. So I think about all of those things, and we have kids too. So you have to put yourself in the next person's shoes to be able to help and do it where you're not expecting. I'm not expecting anything back. I've been privileged to be over here and to have come here at a very young age. And I've always said I was going to retire and go back to Liberia. My dad is there. That was always a goal. Matter of fact, I convinced him to move back. So going and doing these things is not like I'm trying to gain anything from it. It's just where I know I've played my part here in America. I've gotten what the whole purpose of migration is, immigration is to come, get, and then give back. So I think I'm just walking within my calling.
Yes, yes, Myrica. And I can see the connection with your human spirit and your spiritual motivation behind the work. And not just me or you seeing that or know that, but also the Minister of Education. Look here. Here, they
That was
present a certificate of recognition, okay,
that
for the
was
foundation.
that
And
was
this is
amazing.
very enlightening for all Liberians who are living abroad, that compassion, involving yourself in giving back to your community, little you do, yes, not just only the recognition, but the spirit behind it, that spiritual motivation. And I can see that, Marika. And it is good that you are planning to leave your comfortable job in the United States for a few weeks to go and spend
Yes,
with people on the ground. Now,
absolutely.
we look at the end of the year vision, okay? And you focus somehow on the December 26th to the 31st outreach. Why is it so mattered, Emmanuel?
Yeah, that's a good question for him.
Pastor Red, for whatever reason, when I first returned home,
Mhm.
I was being called out and they said I was a 419, whatever that is.
Yes, 491,
Four,
something like
four,
Yeah.
yeah,
that.
419, 491, whatever
Emergency
that is.
call.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and then I asked one of the guy, what do you mean for? When he said, yeah, you can't, you pretty much you're a thief. I said, no, but I'm the one giving my money and resources and everything. And a lot of people say I was too young. A lot of people say I wasn't going to sustain this. A lot of people say it wasn't going to go too far. So when we ended our first physical year, I just had to go down there and do something spectacular, not only to be thankful to the people, but to also show that I'm their son and I'm here for a real reason. That everything I'm doing or everything I will continue to do, it was pre-calculated years and years ago, and that the Eddington Foundation is here to stay. But it was an amazing event. We have the traditional musicians were there. They made a couple of songs in my name. We had the band playing. The midwife shows up, two or three other local organization shows up. We did the reward ceremony. I get one of the town chief his first smartphone ever in his life. So it was just those type of things that just make the entire weekend eventful. The Yenny Wing Public School. I mean, you had to cross the Family River from the Margibi side back into the Grand Bassa side, and you got to walk all through these bushes to get to the school.
Mhm.
And I was surprised they had the internet on. I don't know how they did it, and it was well planned, and because of that, I think that we will be working on extending that school into the next village. It was just so impressive to see people with nothing, just
So,
improvising, and they
Yeah.
gave me it was a standing ovation on the program, a well up organized computer typed out, and I was really surprised how they did it all. They had the generator in the back. So yeah, it was great. The students came out, the parents were grateful. The kids were happy they did not have to cross the river back and forth every morning. So it was kind of touching. It was
Yeah.
sorrowful, but also an exciting time to just be able to go back and see people appreciate you for the little that you think you're doing.
Yeah, and reflecting, I mean, on that particular period in December, I mean, you
Uh-huh.
carry out series of initiatives and you
Yeah.
touch on some of them, and you touch many lives, and that kind of an effort does not happen by accident. Would you
No.
agree?
that's what I tell them.
Absolutely, yeah. This was that probably they were never going to happen maybe 5, 10 years ago. But one of the underlying one of the major part of our year ending program was the midwives. These are 30 women I never met before, don't know their names. They just got picked randomly, and when they walk into that church and they were happy. It was touching for them. Growing up, I mean, we never always had it. I remember holidays we would have nothing. So I
Hmm.
did that for my mother. I did that for our parents because we were once in that position. I want to get emotional. Just we somebody would have came at least gave my mom $2,000 or $1,000 20, 30 years ago. I remember how I would have felt back then. So these are things that's expire the reason behind why we do so.
Wow, that's great. And you're man of the people. Look here, look at this. I was looking at the picture. Was that a jersey in your
Yeah,
hand?
yeah, yeah. So that town is directly opposite the Rara International Airport on the Grand Bassa side of the river. That's Zanga's town. So I met with the youth in that town. I awarded the jerseys, a soccer ball, and I think $50,000, to just these guys come out to do incredible things for the people. They clean roads, they do everything. So it was just way, just me, just motivated to say, we can all do better. And above everything, I want our action to inspire other people to do the same. So now if we got 5, 6, 7, 8 of guys like me going
Mhm.
home to do it, just see how much we can all do. So this is just a message we're trying to set out. John, you don't have to do it with us. Do it. If we all can just
Correct.
do the little bit of pieces in our various communities, I think we can make the world a better place.
Make it world a better place. And that's a great thing to say.
Mm.
And I also got really, really touched this moment with this young man who was in other places. So I've been coordinating with people and helping. My checkup. I need to firstly on that ultrasound to see how the result from that. Okay, I started going. Now, only my mother, nobody will help. So I call you.
So this is not an official response to your situation, but you've been thriving in your situation. So we just decided to stop by to see. We hear your pain and your suffering and what we're going through. So we just want to present you with $50,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
$10,000. Oh, $50,000. We got $10,000 for you, and we.
You muted.
Can you tell us what was the situation in that video with this guy?
Oh, well, you were muted for the most part, but yeah, that guy was one of the beneficiaries of the cash giveaway. He was the handicap guy. We did the offering, and he was the handicap guy. So it was Sunday morning. I was on my way to the church in the district, and then we just drove to his house by surprise. His sister came. I told him who I was looking for, and he was sitting right there. And he was very glad that somebody was able to just find him and gave him some money to help him with his medical conditions and stuff.
Pastor Red, just to add to that, so we have a weekly show with 3 radio stations in the district. And so every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we get on for an hour. We do, the first half an hour of updates to the
Mhm.
people, the citizens of the district. And then the second half is more of a QA. And so he always called in and said, I need assistance from the Eddington Foundation. I was in an accident. My foot is ruined. They said I need to go to the hospital, but I don't have any finances to do it. So I've been doing local herbal treatments. And of course, as you can see, his leg is not
Yeah.
working. There are some things that, the holistic route just cannot solve. You
Yeah.
got to go get an x-ray to see what's really wrong with the leg. So that
Mhm.
was big. Because of that, we always kept him in mind. And I'm like, Eddington, when you go and visit, remember, since we're going to be taking care of certain things, add that to it. We also have coming up an education second disbursement phase of our scholarship money, because we did it in 2 ways. There's a lady that always calls and she says, I have 3 kids. My husband passed away and I don't have means of sending the kids to school. And because she was not a part of the scholarship program, we make these circumstances exceptions. And so her 3 kids starting next March 2nd is we will start dispersing. We decided to include them in the second wave of the scholarship disbursement to pay for their second semester of schooling. And hopefully next year, the 2026-2027 application, when we launch that, she'll be able to apply. And I don't like to be I don't want to be singled out for saying, I am doing favoritism, but my mother has kids and she's a single mother. And I'm sure a lot of people are single mothers.
Sure.
But when someone call in consistently every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday for the last 2 or 3 months, something has to to hit in you. And I'm hoping that, we talk to our coordinator on the ground to include her in the scholarship. Even if she doesn't apply, I'll fill up the application for her.
Yeah, so speaking of the scholarship, maybe also Pastor Red will be launching the college version of the scholarship academic year 26 and 27. But the scholarship will come in 2 forms: financial aid and full scholarship. Financial aid where we pay a fraction of what your actual tuition is, and some people will be selected for full scholarship. So those will be the 2 aspects of our 2026-2027 academic university scholarship stuff. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And picking the end of the year, December, to travel to Liberia and meet the people and all of that. I know there's a larger vision behind, organizing all of those several outreach efforts in that place. And of course, you talk about more like what you're talking about, the scholarship and all of that.
Yeah.
That would be very, very helpful to our young people. And it is a great thing that you are starting with the young people, because the more they have knowledge or education or
True.
career, the better the future for them.
Correct.
And your interest that you developed for them and the timing was so great. Now, so the question becomes, how did you identify the most pressing needs in the entire District 1 in Grand Bassa County?
I
Well,
can take that.
go ahead, go ahead.
I'll take that because so our coordinator is on the ground and
Mhm.
there are 11 clans in the district. So we
Oh,
try to make sure that we're dispersing the scholarship application to all 11 clans within the district. And he's going to go to all of those schools. Last year we did from daycare all the way to high school, and we ended up with 250 students. This time around we're sticking to the high schoolers and junior high schooler and the college students. And the reason being, we found that a lot of people in the district are just they're lacking a lot of them wanting technical career path. A lot of them want the trade school career path. And if you look at the numbers, why it makes you think, and I think for me, that's how my mind works. Why not put some money towards the people who would like trades, because we can get them in the working force quicker,
True.
and we'll still be working in the back end with our younger kids, but we need to start investing in the group that are right now sitting home and have nothing to do, to kind of alleviate some of the things that go on, because that's kind of what's happening in Liberia. When you and it happens here too, when you have kids that are not doing nothing and not productive and have nothing to occupy their time, a lot of not so good things start lingering in their minds. So a lot of the shows that we do have on a weekly basis, we're reached out to, but I want to go to school and I want to be a mechanic. I want to go to school. I want to get into culinary, but I don't have the resources. So I told Eddington, why don't we try to add that component to the education assistance? So I think they'll like this. A lot of people will like this coming up. We're doing also a lot of job creations within the district. Eddington was able to acquire some land in the district where he's going to be building a computer training center. And so what we did was to launch a campaign of contractors to clean the land. We pay for the food and we give them stipend for the day. And then so it extended because of that. I looked at it, I was like, okay, so it worked this time. Let's try to take it a step further. So now when the local radio stations are reaching out to us and saying, oh, we would like some assistance from the Eddington Foundation in the upkeep of our facilities, we're hiring contractors to go out and do it, taking care of transportation, food, and also their stipend for that project. So I think that it is important not just to educate people, but you have to teach people how to make money for themselves so that they become independent.
True. Thanks.
I agree. And so if we look at the whole community as a whole, and all of these things that you're talking about, these are very worthwhile initiatives. They bring some sort of clarity and sense of hope to all of those young people, even the older folks, including our parents, grandparents, auntie, or may I say relatives. And it tells us that the intentionality is there, the planning is there, the compassion is there behind all of those outreach initiatives. Well, we'll take a break, and we'll come back. We'll be talking about youth, sports, community unity, and how did you come up to bring people together through sharing, what would I say, entertainment through sports.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back. And if you're just joining us, this is the Gracious Hope Live podcast. And of course, today we are featuring the Eddington Foundation, and they are carrying on charity efforts in Grand Bassa County, and to be specific, District Number 1. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back here with our special guest, Mr. Emmanuel Johnson and Myrica Guzeh. And of course, we are talking about charity effort in Liberia. And so share this link with your friends, your families, and your loved ones so that they can be a part of this podcast. And as we now get to talk more about youth sports and looking at the soccer tournament that was organized, let us look at the wider meaning of that tournament. And that is one of the major highlights of this foundation, the soccer tournament. And it brought together 8 teams and a broader cross section of the community. Can you tell us more about that? Because I know you have like a competition where they have first place, second
Yeah,
place,
yeah, yeah,
third
yeah,
place, fourth place, and you share a lot of money, with
yeah, yeah,
them.
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe up to like almost over 10,000 Liberian dollars, or more than that,
Oh
20,000
boy,
for the
way
fourth
more than
place.
that.
Yeah. So
About
tell us more about
$150,000. Yeah,
exactly. Tell us more about that.
so when I first returned home, one of the things I always told my people was I always told them I believe in consistency. I believe in longevity and sustainability. So a lot of the Eddington Foundation programs are not they are not one and done's.
Mhm.
There are things you're going to see happening, same time every year for the next 10 years and beyond. So this was our second annual tournament. And like I said, I believe in progression. The first time we started with 4 teams, this year we're going to 8 teams, So now we have consistency right there. 2 years in a row and we see progression, consistency and progression. 2 years in a row we done it. We started with 4, now we are 8. And I just want to continue on that trajectory and things like that. So
That's good. That's good. So, from what I understand, the first place winner,
yeah,
35,000 LD.
yeah,
Second place, 30,000. Third
yeah.
place, 25,000. Fourth place, 20,000, and
And
the
the
remaining teams got
10,000
10,000
each.
LD each for that
Yeah.
sportsmanship. Correct.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And so the total disbursement was
It's
one
like
hundred fifty
150. I think
thousand
yeah,
dollars.
150. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you also cover the catering for players,
Oh
the
yeah.
catering for players and local organizations, musicians, district leaders, and citizens. So now the
Yeah.
question becomes, why did you choose sports as part of the outreach?
That's a good one.
Because sports is a unifying force. Everybody loves sports. You might not let basketball, but you're gonna let so sports bring a lot of people together from different walks of life. The Pele side, the Bassa side, and then young old. When it comes to sports, it's a great way to bring everybody together and a very easy thing to do. So that's why we choose sports. And like I said, most of the things we do. We do it for longevity and consistency, and the fact that sports were part of it the first year, it has to be our culture. And every year we do something similar. This year might be a little different. We want to do the kickball team this year because for 2 years in a row we focus on soccer. So we might want to do kickball this year and just bring girls from throughout the district to just and battle it up for some cash prizes.
Oh, kickball, that's good. What's about now four? You remember now four?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're
And
not
I
there
know,
yet.
Sure.
and I know the tournament meant a whole lot for the youth in that district. But
Yeah.
then, why was it so important to reward not only the top teams but also all of the other participating teams?
Because at the end of the day, this is just about bringing our people together. The game is pretty well. This is not a USA for skin. We just want to find a way to bring our people with competitive spirit. We can all celebrate. You got the band playing, the musician playing, food is in the bag, and everybody can just, people go through a lot in life, and to just give our people a day of just out there celebrating, dancing, eating, and drinking. I think this is something we'll do every year.
And also
Yeah.
to add to that, I think giving the time of the year, right? It's
Mhm.
Christmas going
Festive.
into New Year. So I think it was a good idea for him to plan this because it was a way for the Eddington Foundation to now celebrate with the people in District Number 1. They always say, they appreciate all the things that have been done thus leading up to today. However, they also know that we're not there physically. So to take time off and spend the holidays with them, I think it goes a long way.
And it's Christmas time. Many thought, oh, why he's not home? But so I tell you, I had to spend the Christmas with her and fly out Christmas night after dinner, and then I had to be back before New Year. So I had like 5 days to do everything because I had to be here for Christmas and New Year. So I just subtracting travel time, maybe I'll in Liberia for 4 hours, maybe
Yeah, but
four
we
days.
made it work. Yeah, we always make it work.
Yeah, always make it work, and both of
Yeah.
you also have time too to have fun. I saw some beautiful pictures here. You were riding a horse,
That's
E-Class.
Eddington.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I do a lot of stuff like that. A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, and you travel a lot. It's
Oh
and
yeah.
also here. Is that your co-worker here? The one, the picture all the way down in the left
Right.
hand corner from me.
Yes, this is a
Okay.
baseball game.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we go to the baseball and basketball game. So those are all my co-workers over there.
Oh, okay. And I was listening to a video, and this guy was talking about your charity in the place, but he was speaking Bassa. And I grew up speaking Bassa. My parents were Bassa. They spoke Bassa in the home, but because I've lived in America over 2 decades,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
The
I
Bassa is
could
a little
catch some
rusty,
of them.
huh?
I could,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and
I do
I played
too.
that video like twice because it was like teaching me again, to kind
Yeah,
of catch some of the mean things, and I understood what he was saying,
yeah,
but you see, that's how your impact has reached
yeah,
uh, young people in the place. And that radio station where he was speaking from, and I know you made some donations there
yeah,
and
yeah.
to strengthen that communication because
Yeah,
awareness, public awareness is always good.
sure.
Uh, and as they keep that radio station open and talking about issues in the area, I mean, it can better, unite people too. It
Yeah,
can
yeah,
create
true.
harmony among them.
Yeah, well, we were involved with the formation of the district media network, the three radio stations there, and we all been supportive of all three of them. Two of them are privately owned, so we can only do so much. But like the public radio, we give them 50 gallons of gas every month with 25,000 Liberian dollars, and we'll be celebrating our 1 year anniversary doing that in May. So these are the things we do. And then that was also the radio station. They had a dollar rally, and we gave them $596 as well, and we remain the top donor for the radio station in the district so far.
Wow, and the radio
Yeah.
station in that tournament. And something I wanted to ask about that tournament,
Uh-huh.
seeing all the young people coming together, playing, they have their award. I mean, what
Mhm.
did it mean to create a full celebration with music, food, leaders, and
It,
citizens pressing at the
it,
same
it, it,
time?
it meant a lot to me. We all the say you work hard, you play hard. We all like the festivities. It's
Mhm.
Christmas time, and I just think just putting smile on people's face, knowing that they can just come out, dance, celebrate, and eat, and just have fun. It make those are the things I find happiness in. That those are like my achievement right now. Nothing else I ever did, or no place I ever been that meant more to me right now than just my initiatives right now. So.
That's good. And that is empowerment as well. And
Mhm.
also bringing the people together is unity and celebration, also uplift that dignity as, people who see themselves as worthy. And that is a good thing. Now, Marika has been talking about women, midwives, and the power of support. Now, when it comes to women's empowerment, aid, and support for midwives, um, we see that as another meaningful part of outreach that your
Mhm.
foundation is involved in. And it is your investment in women and also in those who care for life in the
True.
community. So then the question is, you supported 30 women. They received $5,000 each during the
Mhm.
holiday season. And women came from district 11 clans within the
Yeah, yeah,
district.
yeah, yeah.
And so Midwest celebrated with you as a CEO during your visit. But now let's look at the monthly meeting, the catering support on the third Tuesday of every month in our
Mhm.
summer. The money you gave, to help, are they giving you feedback? What with some of the meaningful things that they do with them
Uh, uh,
as that for their well-being?
yeah, with regard to the midwives, so as a father, and and you were there for the birth of the child, and you see the complication, and then you thinking about like now people still giving birth, behind the house on mat, so it touched me, and then it's not really a fun thing that we do for them. It's that we sponsor the monthly meeting. So what I gather was the women will come together every month and put like 50 Liberian dollars together, every one of them to kind of to provide refreshment or transportation for the group every Tuesday, and I asked what the price tag was, and then it was there. Oh, it costs her $10,000 to host the thing every month. So
Mhm.
I just told him, I said, you know what, you don't have to go gathering money anymore. You can just forget that. And for
Mhm.
as long as you're gonna have your monthly meeting, I will sponsor, I will pick up the tab for it. But this is the thing. Those midwives, well, I didn't even know they were going to be at the program, and then they show up, and then they never left my side. It's
because we have a special
yeah,
program for them in May. So May is all about the midwives,
yeah.
the orphans, and the disabled in the district. We're doing the food drive, the clothing drive. We're bringing the medical center supplies. So the midwives really was a May thing.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that they showed up. And so another part that Eddington isn't adding, you because you mentioned, are there any updates that are coming out of these meetings?
Okay.
The every Tuesday, well, the monthly Tuesday meetings is very essential because this is when they come together and they share ideas about the things that are going on within the healthcare sector in the district and how they can tackle these issues or what complications some of them have encountered and how it was resolved. So these meetings are very essential. It is the same as an ad hoc meetings that we'll have here in the hospitals daily. They're
Yeah.
doing theirs on a monthly thing because of the distances in which they travel. So for him to alleviate the transportation, the refreshments, that's the least he can do.
And in the meetings, they talk about fatalities. They talk about obstacle they have had. So it's like a data gathering event they have every month to just get
Mhm.
data pretty much. And I just found that intriguing. So it was an easy decision to give them the $10,000 every month to sponsor that initiative every month.
Okay, and someone listening, both of you now, might say, "Wow, that is a lot. You are doing a lot. You're reaching across to the elderly, to the young, and to those who are actually ill physically." And some people say, "Wow, that's a lot. Why will you stretch yourself so thin like that?" And they may ask, "Why was it important to include women's empowerment in your end of the year giving and in the future vision of what you're trying to do in our district one of Grand Bassa County?"
I mean,
What will you tell them?
I had a mother
Hmm.
that I think she would have been empowered by somebody too. And there is nothing that we've been going through currently in that district or in Grand Bassa County that I don't think my mother or my auntie or my sister went through. People go through real pain, and when you're a witness of those type of things, it's an easy decision to make to say, "Oh, I know what it feels like. I can help."
And to add to that, I think
Yes.
a lot of people should take the notion into consideration that women are nurturers, right? We bring
Yeah.
in life, we nurture life, and then we produce life. So if you start investing in not just the healthcare sector, but the people who care for life, I have children. I have given birth. I've been privileged to have given birth in an advanced country, but even here, you have fatalities through that period of bringing another being into this world.
Shoot.
So I think if anybody wants to stand behind anything, you have to empower the women in healthcare and in education because these are the people that are molding the future for the future for tomorrow.
Yeah, and that is a reality right there because, especially during your visit, what you did was it showed them that you care a lot, and then what struck me in the whole thing here is that you did not just include just that district alone. Um,
Mhm.
I may ask, why did you intentionally reach out to women across 11 clans?
Because we are the one waking up in the morning to go dig cassava and sell it to the market ground. They the one got to make sure the horse is being ran perfectly, despite the resources aren't there. So mothers,
What are those sacrifices?
yeah, the sacrifice. I know how much my mother had to sacrifice to get us where we needed to be. So I put myself in those people's situation, and that it's just the decision aspect is just so easy because then you know exactly how it feels. So and
Exactly.
another thing to do midwives, our year-end program this year now, those 65 midwives will be joining another 30 women. It will be about 95 women that will be empowered this year. But with the women empowerment thing, it will be a different 30 women every year. The midwives number going to remain consistent. If it goes up, so be it. But we will empower those midwives every year with 30 different women every single year. So about 95 women will be empowered every year. And then we hope they can come out with success story, what the money was used for, how it have helped them, and those type of things will be important to us to know as well.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And sometimes the most moving acts of kindness are the ones that reach a single person at a moment.
Absolutely.
One of your videos, yeah, in one of your videos, let's see here. In one of your videos, you there's a moment here. My camera, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. My camera kind of went off a little bit here, but in one of your, it's going to come back on. In one of your videos here, you had a young man who had an issue. He has heard in a radio station
Yeah, yeah.
and want to help, but also and it's this disabled gentleman that you gave 10,000 Liberian dollars, and
Uh-huh.
then the orphan child gave away 10,000, and
Uh-huh.
then your donation to Dime Blade radio
Yeah, the
station
DMV, yeah.
500 USD, and the scratch card gave away, and you distributed at least $1 each to 50 individuals. Now, what did it mean to you personally to support a disabled gentleman and an orphan child directly?
I mean, it was just a story on the handicap guy was involved in a motor accident, and he been trying to get help from many people and nobody wanted to answer him. He called our radio show program a few times. We got his information and he was consistent with it. He said he really needed help, and I just paid that surprise visit to him that Sunday morning, and then gave him the money and just you know pray that he can use that in his medical recovery.
Okay.
And as for the
You,
orphan, because he mentioned orphan,
yeah,
so
yes.
these are all people that are still a part of the community. Most people, and they can relate. Our disabled and our orphans are so often forgotten and left in the back end
True.
because of their situations.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids that are orphaned didn't choose to be orphaned. It was due to circumstances. Well, and maybe the parents passed away, maybe the parents just couldn't care for them no more. We don't always know the reasons, but then you have to think about, as a parent, I want to see my kid out here, trying to figure out day to day how to get by. So we every initiative that we put out, and we do them on a monthly basis, we always like to tackle things that are community, that should be addressed by the community. These are awareness that every community should be addressing. We started out with education, that's paramount. You have to think about healthcare, that's paramount. But then what about the elderly, and then the disabled, and then what about the orphan? Because the orphans are also part of the next generations that are to come. You never know, a president might come out of an orphanage.
Hmm. And we'll still remember that day. He said one. He
When
said, "Yeah,
somebody took a
kids
chance
can
at me,
remember."
and yes, and looked at my situation, and they changed my life around. A lot of us, our lives were changed around. Like I said, my parents' lives were changed around by some influence. I think my life has been changed around by some influence, and I tend to be the one to change somebody else's life around, or lives around. Thank God I'm in the position, and I tend to stand by that.
Yes, yes. And I have a video here with EClass. It's a moment right here, and you're talking to a group of people. Let me put it here and see.
For short notice, but I sincerely appreciate you coming here today. I'm looking forward to working with you in the future, my man.
Oh yeah, he's one of the Bassa musicians, and he can be he's a good artist. He's incredible. He's incredible. His songs are great. He performed. I danced with him. I sang some of the lyrics in the song. But it was a great event to just see guys I never even met before volunteering the services. Don't even pay us. We come, and what you doing for our people is great. It will come. Even the people that play the band never booked them. They just showed up, and the next thing you know, I'm in the line, the Midwest behind me, and we parading down the road through the district. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and those the larger vision you have to
Yeah.
carry on in that particular district, and the charity involved and sort of things you do that you give away. Um, Someone might ask, why do small practical gifts like scratch cards still matter in such a community outreach?
Well, many of those people down there, they call the show. And you know, like we got people in these various towns that listen and bring information to us. So, you know, a lot of the people they hear what we're doing, they want to reach out to the show. Most of them ain't got money to recharge to scratch cards. So we do this thing like the end of every month.
Mhm.
The last Friday, every month, anybody who calls the show, they just get a dollar scratch card, whatever that is. So yeah.
Yeah, and that can be very helpful in
Yeah,
many
yeah.
practical ways. What have you learned about how people experience dignity through even small acts of generosity?
I learned that the little things we ignore around here, it can mean a lot to people. I mean, $100 US dollar might not mean nothing to you, but that can change somebody's life. And then, you know, the little thing that doesn't matter to most of us, to see how it can be impactful and matter a whole lot to other people, it makes me, you know, just always want to keep on doing this, right?
I mean, we're in it for the long haul. So
Yes. And this is all leading to the future
Uh-huh.
because you're looking at community development and education and health
Mm-hmm.
for building the future in the lives of the kids and the people in the community, even those who are older as a whole. Now, your work, touched their hearts and you reach for as far as, you know, going through the Palava hot dog in God towns,
Yeah.
that dedication. Tell us more about that.
Well, it's Goldstein is one of the town that I really got a lot of respect for. I remember when I visited the town a little over a year ago, and I just remember the full posts up in the ground, and then where we have a little meeting, and then going back about a year later to see it being fully fenced and well beautified, all cleaned up. That I did not have to pay the labor for. I only had to pay for the materials and stuff, and they
correct.
provided their own labor. They provided their own labor. And when I went to dedicate the team, when I went to dedicate the Palava Hut, it was just how organized they were, how things were appreciated the word. You know, it was just incredible. You know, when people show appreciation to you, you just naturally want to be nicer to them over and over again. So yeah, Goldstown holds a special place in my heart, and I just salute the chief in the town for just giving me a word that we don't want you to pay or just do it for us. We'll provide our own labor, and they did just that.
So, Pastor Ray, I think what this is teaching, and I think this should be like the lesson learned and the message from this conversation is that
Mm,
everybody wants to work together.
yes.
Everybody wants a better life living environment for themselves and for the years to come. They're just waiting on someone with the idea and the vision and a little assistance to help push them. And so what we're seeing through these initiatives is that togetherness is the theme. You know, everybody
Mhm.
will say, well, if the Eddington Foundation is coming, we'll stand behind him and we'll do this and we'll do that. The eagerness is there, but like myself, sometimes I'm at work, I need a little shove, and something my boss is really good at that. He'll say, I'm tasking you with all these little grants and things because I know you can handle it. In hindsight, I probably can't, but if somebody believes in me, I have to then believe in myself. And I think that's the message here is that all of these places that Eddington has visited, because he does most of the traveling, and I'm here doing more of the structuring and the planning in the back end. They want to do these things for themselves. They just don't have the means financially. And so if the Eddington Foundation can provide the means, they will galvanize themselves and they'll put in the hard work and get their self moving.
I agree. And the Godtown Palava Hall represent meaningful things for the community life
Oh
as a whole.
yes.
And so then the question becomes, why are shared spaces like the Palava Hall important for peace, dialogue, and community identity?
Because this is how our elders gather together and make impactful
You can't
decisions.
play with that palaver. Huh?
No,
You
yeah,
can't
those are
play.
very important. That's part of our culture, right? We don't want to
Yeah.
deviate from those things and to restore those things. And so the Goldstown one is just the first one. He has another one going on that is actually for the women. From another town. They've reached out. Zoltown said, "Oh well, we heard about Gallstown. We see what you guys done over there. We will also build too. Just provide us materials." So they're actively working on that presently. And again, this is culture. And we've deviated from that a little bit because one, for
Yeah.
traveling due to war and so many things. So it's best to try to restore those things. Our kids are going to be traveling back to Africa with us. We want them to see where their forefathers came from and how. I always tell people back then those people were so wise because, and they didn't even a lot of them didn't set their foot in no classroom because sometimes wisdom is just divine. And
Yes.
if you had listened to them, sometimes you would avoid some problems in life that you had no business, venturing into. So these palabras are very important. When that part came up, we were like, hands down, we got it covered because this is where wisdom is shared. And if you listen, you kind of excel in life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
in
God.
class,
Yeah.
how did you feel to be honored by the Yenwen Elementary School?
Oh,
Well, it felt good. I'm not gonna lie, it felt good. It felt good that, like the principal told me, he said, "Chief, our money always on time." Now I'm used to that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
so this is but anyway, holds a special place in our heart. And like I was telling him, we're gonna work on the extension. We're gonna increase their monthly allowance as well after during the next school year. We gotta put a latrine system down there. We gotta put a hand pump for them. Yeah, and so many things because I'm just so happy that 40, 50 kids don't have to cross the Farmington River going to the Kakata area just to go to elementary school. I was glad I was able to alleviate that.
Yeah, and I want to, personally thank you for
Yeah.
reopening that school because reopening means a whole lot for the children and their families in the area. And so now the important question is how important is education to the long-term vision of the Eddington Foundation?
Education is one of our pillar. Actually, matter of fact, going back to Goldstein, so when I go to this place, when I go to listen for something, I end up learning something and finding out something else. So we in Goldstein doing the Palaver dedication. And then the woman that was in charge of the women said, "But we got a school here. I got 3 teachers. We not taking pay. So because of that, we had to because we already had 12 volunteer teachers that we compensated 10,000 out. They was going to receive the second half of the 10,000 out. That conversation with that lady had us adding 13 more volunteer teachers in the district to now make the number 25, and the money was disbursed yesterday. And the DO and officials of the educational side, they were there all day yesterday on the compound one to just make the dedication. It was a great ceremony. So it was just listening to people and and you learn. But we did not even know that there were more than 100 volunteer teachers in the district. So when we considered the first 2 of last year, we were just thinking, oh, maybe it's just 12.
we've helped.
Till we found out it was more than 100 of them. And that lady being one of the persons who were teaching without pay. So I just took 3 persons from for her school, and then we got 10 other persons to make it 25, and they got a compensation yesterday.
Wow. And Eddington Foundation is not only, meeting immediate needs, but helping restore social structure and opportunity in that particular sector of our country. So now when it comes to the lessons learned, vision, looking ahead to do more, the invitation to support this foundation. And for all of you who are listening, of course, it's a charitable organization or foundation, and you can also donate and you can chip in if you know this is worthwhile, which of course I know, support the Eddington Foundation. Can you let us know how can they support your foundation?
Oh, we got cash on the Eddington Foundation Cash app. It's right there. And then that's why you already the number associated with it.
Yeah, so the number is there, and also all of, and we've been grateful. I would say to God first foremost, that a lot of our donations, as it pertains to medical supplies, clothing, shoes, school supplies, have come from people within our working environment, people within our like social environment. But the financial aspect of it has been Eddington 100%.
Yes.
And so we're grateful. We're grateful, and we want to urge other people, even if you're not doing it for the Eddington Foundation, try to look into doing it for whatever region that you identify with in Liberia, because the need is there. And Liberia is moving ahead. So if you can, definitely take into consideration, do your research, because we're not in the we're past the war era now. Everybody's trying to get into a better area where they can progress. The Eddington Foundation definitely is doing that in District 1. And let this, like he said, he wants to set this as an example for anybody else who wants to come on board, or not even just on board, but see it and say, I can make the C initiative and I can do these things, these selfless acts.
Eddington Foundation, empowering the community. And this is a worthwhile initiative. And as we begin to close here on this podcast, I want to move from, what was done or is to be done, and what it has meant for you personally. Okay. Now, looking back over these initiatives, what has been, or what has this season of your giving and practically going there for yourself and looking forward to affect your larger vision taught you about your service to the people?
Well, the first thing, our people are in need more than we know it. That's one thing. Second thing is, you be surprised how impact the little you give can make. You be surprised. And above everything, our people just want to know that somebody care about them.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so those three things, yeah, they just from those faces I always see in the smiley conversation, they just glad that somebody else to identify with them. He ain't got no reason being here. He doesn't have to come about. He crossing these rivers and this and that, and to see us, it means a lot to them, and that's why I like to do it.
Yes, yes. And I know, Myrica, you giving your whole helping hand, full helping hand to everything that
Absolutely.
he's doing. I know how busy you are, and EClass travels a lot. But
Yes.
I cannot let both of you go until you answer this question from a
Oh, please.
pastoral perspective. Okay,
Oh, I forgot. I
how
know
has
exactly
this
what he's
work?
going to say.
How has this work shaped your faith and your sense of purpose? Both of
So
you.
for me, I think I'll answer for Eddington and I, because we're aligned on this.
Okay.
We've always been religious people. We grew up on religion, right? And what we didn't mention in this conversation is that we also put together a pastoral committee in the district, and they're
Wow.
also a part of the May giveaway, because people reach out all the time, again, through our weekly shows, saying, well, we see you guys doing everything for the children, the education, the elderly, but what about the religious sector? There are times where sporadically we've paid our offerings there, and our tithes there, but we want a committee that all of these concerns could be ran through and properly vetted, and then we can extend assistance. So Eddington was able to put that together. We're meeting them in May. And then he gets to make this surprise giveaway to them. But for me, I think like I would say for us, we've always been people who were spiritual. We know where we come from. We have our morals and our values in check. And above everything that we do, I know it's not, I always tell him, I was like, I think it's all alignment. Like, you can't get to your destination before the date that God intended for you to get there. Eddington, probably 5 years ago, I don't think this will be happening.
No, probably not.
And I tell him, I'm like, I don't see that happening. You had to go through your trials and your tribulations to prepare you to be the man that you are today, to be able to listen, because he's better at this than I am. He'll listen to all the stories, and sometimes the stories don't always add up. And then I get frustrated. I'm like, but they're lying to you. So why aren't you like reacting the way I would want you to react? And he'll say, no, because sometimes you just got to be patient with people. I say, yeah, I'm patient, but don't lie to my face. So I think he has grown into this tender person where he's more patient than I am. And then there are times where I think I'm more diplomatic than he is. So everything and every step that we've taken to lead us here to sitting in front of you today has to be God divine intervention.
Sure.
Even us meeting is God divine intervention.
Sure. Right.
And I know
No, you're right.
E-Class will agree because you got
No,
nothing to say about
I
that.
can understand. I can understand. Yeah, but yeah, Paris, that boy, she's very nice, and Paris, she takes a lot of pressure on me, because when I first started, this was all me, night and day, and she took a lot of the burden off my head. It didn't take her that long to get on board, but when she saw that I was really serious about this thing, she just got on board, and then I put all the work is now back on her head now, so I don't have to do much no more. So.
And it's easy because it's in my wheelhouse.
Yes,
I'm good
yes.
at dealing with multiple projects at a time, so I can do all my work. And I tell them, I'm like, look, I'm on my regular job clock, but I'm on the Eddington Foundation clock,
Exactly.
and I prioritize all of the responsibility. I think I handle it well.
That's good. And for all of you who are listening, if you want to partner by supporting Eddington Foundation, please do that. But most of all, pray for their work ahead because they have a whole lot going on for this year. And so then we had a very powerful and encouraging conversation. And if you are just joining us, we'd like to say, hey, just click that share button and share this video so that someone will be blessed with this conversation that we are having. And today we have heard more than a report of charitable activities. We have heard a testimony of compassion in motion. We have heard what happens when people choose not to look away from need, but to answer it with generosity, presence, and purpose. I want to sincerely thank you, our special guest, Emmanuel EClass Johnson, and Myrica Guzeh, our co-host Sister Paris, for joining us and sharing the heart behind the work of Eddington Foundation. Your service to the underserved people of Grand Bassa County, District Number 1, is a witness that kindness still matters.
It does.
That community still matters, and that hope can still be made visible. So to everyone listening, let this be an encouragement to you as well. And not just everyone can do everything, but each of us can do something, a kind act or a helping hand, a word of encouragement, a seed of support. All of it matters when it is done with love and sincerity. Any final word, Myrica, EClass?
Oh, I was gonna say, for anybody who wants to read more about what we're doing, and we're updating our website. Like I usually kind of monitor that, is to definitely check out the eddingtonfoundation.org. It has all of the work that we've done, where we're working on. Sometimes we don't put everything of what we're working on up front because we've come across some hurdles in the district with not competitors, just from others. And that's more like politician, government side. So we try to tackle these initiatives. Once they're completed, then we publish them, but not announce them ahead of time. But definitely check out anything you want to learn about the Eddington Foundation at www.eddingtonfoundation.org. Thank you. Thank you all for your time.
All right. And that's what we heard right there is eddingtonfoundation.org. And to every one of you listening, let this be an encouragement to you in all that you're hearing here today. And as if you are blessed, if you have been blessed by today's episode of this podcast, please share this conversation with someone else. Let others hear what community-driven compassion looks like. And if you believe in the work of Eddington Foundation, go to the website, www.eddingtonfoundation.org, and consider finding a way to support, encourage, or stand with efforts that bring help to those who need it most. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. This is the Gracious Hope Podcast. I'm your host, Pastor Red. Until next time, let us continue to live with faith, walk in compassion, and be a source of hope and inspiration to others. Thank you very much for coming
for having us
today.
And we'll give you update when we return in May.
Thanks, Pastor.
Okay, yes, please return in May.
All right,
We'll see
have
you
a
then.
good one.
All right.
Already. Have a great weekend.